Hi everyone, welcome back to my next video. By the time you're watching this, it will be January 8th, and of course, at the beginning of every year, what do? You make New Year's resolutions. So this year, we're going to talk about my resolutions, and I might even, being a know-it-all Budinsky, I might even have some for you as well. Last video, we talked about looking backwards at 2017, so now we're going to think about 2018. I have one primary resolution for myself for this year, and that is that I want to take better care of myself. I told you before that 2017 was a hard year for me, and I don't think I took good care of myself. And so this year, my goal is really to take some better care of myself, put a little more focus on myself this year. You know, a wise thing I read, actually it's often attributed to Audrey Hepburn, who was apparently a very wise woman as well as a great actress. She said that God gave you two hands, and that with those two hands you were to always be caring for yourself, and the other one was to care for others. And that's kind of a philosophy I've tried to adopt and live my life by. And that the two hands need to stay in balance, just like you have a dominant hand. I think the dominant hand should be self-care, because if you don't take care of yourself, then of course you can't give to anyone else to help them. When I look at my last year, I think I got quite a bit off balance in caring for others and not caring for myself enough. So I'm going to really work to rebalance that this year. So for me, self-care means spending more time alone in nature. And so that is what my goal is, my resolution is for 2018. So that's going to mean some major changes in my life this coming year. I'm probably going to spend less time with the community. So I think actually this is going to be, I'm going to do a better job. That's my goal, to do a better job of serving the community by being healthier myself, and spending time alone in nature is how I am healthier. And that's the whole goal. And it will mean that I'm going to spend less time within the community. Summers have always been, for me, I travel alone, I have to have them to recover. But I'm going to make spring, fall, and winter also more alone time. We've lost Ehrenberg as a wintering camp for the tribe because the rangers have come in. I've got a video about that you may have seen. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I have a plan. That's also my plan for 2018. I'm going to try and do a traveling caravan community. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a date and place through winter. Basically through the whole winter. And then in the spring and the fall, we kind of tend to break up and go our own separate ways. But if you have a place to go to in the winter within the tribe, I think that's so good. And so I have this idea, and I'm just going to give you the brief outline. None of the details are written or firm. I'm just trying to get an idea of what we might do as a traveling community, since we can't stay in one place for so very long anymore like we have in the past. This is just a beginning idea. So this is all going to be broken down in 2 weeks, because we have 2 weeks on BLM land. This is my idea for 2 weeks at a time. We'll meet at this place. I'll put up maps. We're meeting here this time, then we're going to here, and then we're going to here, and then we're going to here. So at any time, if you want to join the community and travel and be with others, you can. This is where they'll be. And I may or may not be there myself. So this is roughly what I have in mind, and then none of the details are written in stone. It'll all change. My thought is in November, the first 2 weeks of November, we'll be in Pahrump, Nevada. There's a great big area there that I know of. It's a great town, got everything we need. And then we'll move from there. We've only got 2 weeks. And then we'll go to Lake Havasu. Again, like a lot of places in Lake Havasu we can camp, and I will assign a map. And for the last 2 weeks of November, we will all meet in Lake Havasu. And then I'm thinking Parker in December. I've got some great campsites in Parker. These are big areas. I mean, if there are 50 of us, 75 of us, we can all meet in these areas. They have internet, they have services nearby. That's why I'm choosing them. And the great thing about BLM land out west is there's plenty of those places to go around. The problem will be that, of course, you have 14 to 14 is 28, and there's 31 days in most months. So there's going to be some problems with those 3 days, but we'll just do our best. And we'll, maybe for those 3 days, you just have to go off on your own or risk being caught by the ranger. So after Parker, the first 2 weeks of December will be in Parker. The last 2 weeks of December will be in Ehrenberg. The first 2 weeks of January will be at the American Girl Mine down by Yuma. Huge area, services, internet, all that's nearby. Yuma's a great place. You can go to Algodones. Most of you are planning on going to Algodones anyway, so that might be when you schedule a trip to Algodones. You're just not even 10 miles from Algodones. And then the last 2 weeks, you'll come back up to Quartzsite for the RTR in January. Now again, that's going to be, the dates are going to be a little odd because the dates of the RTR are never exactly 2 weeks at the beginning and end. But you'll just have to figure it out. We'll figure it out when I write out a schedule, a kind of a firm schedule for next year. After RTR, I thought we might go back to Parker because we can go back to these places. You can do a reverse route. You're moving every 2 weeks. You'll be perfectly legal, and they're close. The greatest driving distance is from Parker, Pahrump, Nevada. It's quite a ways away. It's a couple, 300 miles. But the distance from the furthest away at American Girl Mine up to Lake Havasu is 200 miles. So on this whole circuit, you're going to drive 200 miles, and you're going to drive it every 2 weeks at a time. Most of it's even closer. And if you skip the 2 far ends and just go back and forth from Parker to Ehrenberg, you could do that. It's 40 miles. Parker, Ehrenberg, Parker is 40 miles. They're both great places. You could just do that if you preferred. And if I hear from other people that that's what we'd rather schedule, then we can just schedule that for the following year. And then I think we'll do Lake Havasu again, or again, we could just come back to Parker. You could bounce back and forth between those two. 40 miles, very little in gas, very little in time. I know spending money on gas is a problem for a lot of you, and so I'm considering that too. It's just, I think it's a workable solution for us to meet and stay legal and still have tribal community. We'll be a traveling caravan, which is kind of the nomadic roots of who we're trying to be and to become. And all that time you will be connected to nature, won't you? I mean, you'll be camping on public land, and you'll wake up every morning out in the desert or wherever you happen to be. So I think that's a viable solution for next year. That's my plan. As it gets closer, I will firm it up and we'll go from there. What usually happens is at the RTR, you'll make enough friends and you will make plans as a group for the next year. At the RTR, there's so many people, you can't get to know them all. But what's going to happen is you'll get to know the people in your immediate neighborhood. So when you wake up in the morning and you look around, there might be 10, 15 people, and you'll get to know them and you'll become friends. And you'll go to the gatherings, the seminars, and you'll meet other people and you'll connect with them. And so what happens is most people will travel together as a group afterwards. And you don't really need to be told where to go. As a group, you will learn where to go. So that's my thought for next year. And I think for you, you might consider trying to find a balance, whichever way off balance you are. Some of you are off balance in serving others too much, and some of you are off balance by not serving others enough. If we each just strive to find that balance, a very healthy way of looking at ourselves, at looking at the outside world, I think we'll all be better off. And I believe that is the nomadic way, because every nomadic hunter-gatherer tribe knew that they had to be in the tribe to survive. To be removed from the tribe was the death sentence in those days. And so community and tribe and taking care of yourselves and taking care of others was all important. And so I hope you'll consider becoming part of the tribal community and becoming nomadic. And even if you only come out for a few weeks, maybe a month or two a year, that'd be super. I think you would find your life will be greatly improved by that. Okay, so I'll stop there, and I hope you'll like this video. You got something out of it. If you did, subscribe to the channel, like us on YouTube, and we'll talk to you later.